Okay. Check, check. 1, 2. All right. Let's get settled in here. Let's see if you're on board. Let's see if you're hearing me. I'm streaming from one of my original sites for a certain reason tonight. And it's boring stuff for you guys. All right. Let's make sure you can hear me okay. You can see me okay. Everything's streaming well. Let me turn down this. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. All right, guys. You guys cold? Yeah. Frozen tundra of northeast Wisconsin. Same here up by northern Ohio by Lake Erie. Ooh, that's frigid. Real cold. It's going to get colder here. I guess we're bracing for the storm. Oh, we're going to talk about that. All right. Looks good. Sounds good. Let's party. All right. Excellent. Loud and clear. Good stuff. Good. All right. So before we get started, first of all, welcome to the show. And it's been a minute, a little over a week or so, I think, maybe almost 2 weeks going on since I've been on. I've been a little under the weather. I know I don't look and really sound it right now. I was down for the count. It was rough there for a minute. Today is really the first day I'm really feeling much better. The antibiotics are kicking in. So, I kept hearing, everybody kept saying the flu's going around. I was feeling fine. I'm like, well, I feel okay. And I got it. I don't take any shots anymore. I don't take the flu shot. I had a doctor's appointment recently. The doctor said, "Do you want a flu shot?" I said, "No." I said, "I'm good." Every time I took the flu shot, I got sick. And that's a true story. People thought I was crazy. I wasn't even into the whole thing with the vaccines at this time. I'm talking years ago. I'm like, every time I get a flu shot, I'm sick right afterwards. I said, "No, you can't get sick." I'm like, "Oh, just a coincidence." So no, I was getting sick. So, but if you're out there suffering with it, it sucks. I feel for you. Just got to ride it out. Yeah, you do. And then on top of everything, being sick, it happened twice to where last week, Saturday night, because the repairman came on Sunday, I decided to get settled. And see, I have the luxury because, like, right now I'm in my studio. I'm always in my studio. But then when I'm not in a circumstance, when I'm not feeling well, like recently, I'm like, I have to, excuse me, I have to use my laptop, and I do it from my room, my bedroom. So I'm like, oh, I got to kind of rest here. So I'll only post the important news and while I'm feeling sick from my laptop. But then I get all comfortable last Saturday night, and then I go to the restroom. I go to wash my hands, and I'm like, okay, got soap on my hands. Where's the hot water? I'm waiting. No hot water. And I was like, oh, beep. Yeah, I go downstairs and take a look at things, and I'm like, we have no hot water. I tried to light the with the electrical the start button, and that wasn't working. So luckily, I got a repairman here. We had to replace the whole water tank, and yeah, that was no fun. And then, was it 2 nights ago? It was the last night. Yeah, last night, right? I think so. I'm losing my mind. Same thing again. It's later in the evening. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work the rest of the day, just taking it easy, taking my antibiotics, letting these kick in. I grab the laptop, and then I'm like, I'm cold. I'm really cold. And I posted on Facebook. I actually posted. I said, I'm freezing. I said, can we get a group hug going? And I meant that. I'm like, I don't know why I'm never cold. I love the cool air. And then it was shortly after that, I'm like, there's no heat in the house. But that experience last night was good. Some people out here definitely prayed for me. I also kind of connected to you know what? It's nice to have a life today. Seriously, it's nice to have, I'm a very transparent man. It's very nice to have a life today when I'm doing the right thing for many years. All right. And I'm putting God first and I'm just doing everything the right way because I've always said I can't afford that bad karma. I can't afford to have that garbage back in my life because I'll go back to that old man and that old self, and that scares the daylights out of me. But I think a combination of prayers and leading and living a good life and doing the right thing worked out because the guy showed up. I got a hold of him, and they got a hold of the repair guy. He happened to be right in my neighborhood when they paged him or whatever. And they texted him, and he called me. And I'm talking to him on the phone. We went over a couple things to try and do it without him coming here. But he says, no, I'm going to have to come there. He was here it was like 12 minutes what it was when I hung up with him because he had me on the GPS. And he said, I'll be there in about 12 minutes, 11 and a half minutes. And he was here and came in 5 minutes. It took him to do a switch. And the best part about it, I was prepared for like a $200 late night emergency service, not including parts and labor. I was already prepared for something like that. And the guy didn't even charge me any type of emergency call. He waived that whole fee. He just charged me parts and labor, and the part was dirt cheap. So I dodged a bullet last night, and somebody was on my side, that's for sure. So, yeah. So that was good. Anyways, just wanted to get that out there. Let me see what I got here. All right. Well, another thing too, before we get into all this, all right. I saw a movie recently and I loved it. I loved it because I love talking about entertainment as well. And I don't do that all the time, hardly. And I like to do a little bit more of it. And I know, believe me, okay, I know everybody's against Hollywood, but there are some good films out there occasionally. All right. I stay away from the majority of them. Depends what it is. But I did see Song Sung Blue with Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson. I thought it was amazing. It was really good, very entertaining. I love films that take place in the era that I grew up in. And I'm always nitpicking because I saw, what did I see? That was more 70s, early 80s was the Iron Claw. But Song Sung Blue took place pretty much majority in the 80s. And I love seeing how they, the production designers get everything from that era. And I'm always looking at that stuff. They did a great job, a really good job. So, yeah, that's that. If you want to check that movie, I know right now you got to pay for it, and I did. And like it's rare that I buy a movie, but once in a while I like to something I want to see when it comes out, and it costs the same thing if I went to the movie theater, pretty much, and bought popcorn and a soda. But yeah, very good movie. I recommend it highly. So. All right. Oh, somebody's asking me what the part. What is a switch? It was the panel switch when you on my furnace. Somebody asked real quick. It's that little switch. There's a switch. Apparently, I did see it yesterday because before the guy got here, he told me what to press. And when you take the panel off, I guess it'll take the power away or something. But when you put the panel on, it hits this switch. That's electrical switch, and keeps it on. So that was it. Just that little switch. All right. Enough about my appliances. I usually like to take about 5-10 minutes and talk about just a few things, get people settled in, make sure you can hear me okay. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the chat. I'm going to take the chat off the screen. Okay. We're going to go over a few things. All right. But here's what I'd like you to do. I want you to help me this evening. Here's why. Because I thought about it. I'm like, First of all, there is a lot to talk about since the last time I've been on the air. A lot. Um, and I'm going to let you guys just pose the questions. But before you do that, hold off. I'll give you the signal when. Because if you do it now, I will not see it. Just hold off for a second. All right. So the one thing that I want to say is here's what I feel, and I'll give you my personal opinion, my personal observation of where we're at right now. I believe that we're in the final stretch. I know this is exhausting. Okay. I know many of you have given up. I know that many of us still take the BS slanders in the comment sections or on our social media pages to people that are just completely at wit's end. And you know what? I don't blame them. I get it. Okay. I'm always hesitant about putting out a QCOM because you're always going to get those folks like, yeah, whatever. I believe it when I see it, that type of thing. And again, I'm not pointing fingers at you at all. Okay. There is a lot going on now. I know for certain. All right. For example, today I made a mistake. I'm human. Okay. I take a lot of not the bad sinful pride, but I take a lot of pride in what I do. And one of the things I take pride in is what I post when it comes to the truthful news, because I want to have a very high batting average. And I believe I have obtained that. I have achieved that. And by all of you, in your wonderful comments, and it's not to feed my ego, it's because I want to have a product out here that people could say, you know what? I'm going to go to Bruce's page, MindfixTV, because they're always reliable. And that's so important to me. It's not about Bruce being reliable. It's about the product, the news, the facts, everything. And today I got one story wrong. A lot of us did, actually, out there in internet land. And it was with the magistrate, the judge who apparently went and signed the warrant for Don Lemon for the DOJ in Pampandi. We reported the first judge. I don't even remember his name. It was a weird name. And then the second judge, I don't have it in front of me right now, but I did correct it. Okay. And I did put it out there. So I'll do that. Every single time I'll put it out there. I'll redact it. I'll correct it, and I will announce it publicly. It's very rare. That's why I put, hey, I'm wrong once every 3 to 4 years. But all joking aside, I'm pretty serious about that. It's rare. And that is the one thing that I take a lot of pride and I'm responsible with. And I think it's paid off. So, and that's a reason why most of you are here. Because of the consistent real-time news that I put out on a daily basis. You can count on it, and I want you to count on it. But my point I'm trying to make is that a lot of people are getting exhausted. They're tired. I get it. This has been going on for years. I mean, think about it. I mean, we're in 2026, and we can go back prior 2020. And when the whole thing started, the hotbed back then at the beginning in Trump's first term was Twitter. Twitter was just unbelievable. It was magical. And then this thing started with anons and then the Q drops. And they were just, and Q was still posting. And Q posted, it was like, you know, the clouds parted and music played and everybody went in, oh, Q posted, bam, bam, bam. It was taking over Twitter like a storm. It was magical time. I'll never forget it. I am very blessed that I'm in one of the Q drops. I'm in the Trust Dan Q drop. There's a link in there. See, I don't have my original account because we all got wiped out. My current X account is a new link, but my original one was like Snyder R1, I think it was something like that. But I have a link. The Q drop and the Trust Dan Q drop is the Kate Awakening, because I talked to Kate from the Kate Awakening that night. It was July 2nd, I think it was, or the 3rd. It was right around 4th of July. And it was the Dan Scavino video, and it was that famous video with the cover by Tommy Prophet, who covered the Linkin Park song in the end, and that was a powerful video. And I just happened to, I'm like, this is not getting any traction. What's going on here? Why is this? This is a powerful video. It's not moving. So I took it upon myself. I took Dan's video, uploaded it myself, and I said, we got to get this moving. So I went to Kate and I said, hey, you got a way bigger following than I have. Can you just share this? And that was the night it went boom. It just took off and it went viral. And it caused a storm that night. It was crazy in my world over here as I'm watching it, because it was just checking the comments there. Sometimes I get a spammer. But what happened that night was it went viral. I started getting my counter for my followers, it was going like, real fast. I kept getting all these new followers. And all of a sudden, all these people are starting to follow me. I remember seeing the first one was Dean Cain, and then Tammy Bruce. And then all these people are following me. It was crazy. And then all of a sudden, Linkin Park joined in the chat. I'm like, holy Toledo, what's going on here? And I was disappointed on that one because Linkin Park put out a cease and desist because the song was a Linkin Park song. I'm like, what a storm we caused that night. And then we got cued, and Kate and I, and that was really cool. That was really special. But my point is that was a magical time. And now you get to 2020, COVID hits, everybody's locked down and at home. Okay. And then you guys at home decide, well, what else do I have to do but go down a rabbit hole? And at that time, you went down this rabbit hole, and the number one thing that you stumbled upon besides Q, okay, in these drops is the underground satanic world of child trafficking. And that's when things really exploded in 2020. And then everybody discovered the Fall of the Cabal, the series. I remember I thought that was one of the most excellent documentaries produced, not ever produced, but up there with one of them. Very well done. And everybody went down that rabbit hole as well. And there's a lot of truth to that stuff as well. But here we are now in 2026, and people are just they're at wit's end. I get it too. I'll be emotional at times for sure. And we want to see arrests and everything else. Real quick, one thing I want to do. Let me just check the wire real quick, because a lot's happening, and every time that I come on the air, some breaking news happens, which is good. That's a good thing, because I'm on the air. If we're gonna do something, do it now. Just one quick second. I just want to check. Okay, I'm not seeing too much. Okay, I think we're good. Okay. So anyways, and we're waiting for arrests, and I think I believe I've given my opinion on this before. But before I do that again, let me just say this. 100% the clock is ticking, and I know I've recently come on here and I told you that it has to pick up come the first of the year, now that we're in the new year. It did pretty much on day one. Okay. You guys, somebody said, are you having problems with the video? I'll take a look. I'm looking at my Facebook stream. Okay. Hopefully you're not having an issue. I see it streaming. I apologize if you are. Yeah, this is why I'm not on I'm on the downgrade tonight, because it's great here. You guys good? No problem. Okay. Well, whoever said that, your phone sucks. That's the answer. I don't know. That's the easy answer for me to say your device sucks. It's your Wi-Fi. Okay. Yeah, it's you. It's you. No, go away. Just teasing. So anyways, here we are. We're waiting. And I know recently I've said we have to go into the new year. with kind of a Fast and Furious, because the clock is there's a real clock ticking right now. Okay, that clock is the midterms. I've said we got to get this wrapped up by the 4th of July. That's my personal opinion. I believe that 2 or 3 years ago, I'm like, I think the target date's going to be 2026. Trump gets back in. I was dead confident, and I'm trying not to be that. I'm not a know-it-all, because if you're new, okay, you're never going to get that from me. But again, taking pride in what I do in my work, I just saw things, and I was able to connect things. I don't have all the answers, okay? And when it comes to things like, for example, and we're going to get into it in a second, when it comes to the Q drops, like the one that Donald Trump posted tonight. Now you got Donald Trump posting tonight about Ilhan Omar and about the $30 million. I'm going to bring that on the screen momentarily, and there's a comment there. Dan Scavino at the same time, he's posting the storm. Okay, I did just flicker. I saw that. I don't know what that was, but he's posting the storm. So I'm going to put that together for you in a second. But before I do that, okay, here's what I want to say. None of us have the answers at all. Anybody out here who tells you they know what they're talking about and the proof, and I know there's a couple people, and I can name names right now. Okay? I can name names right now. They are egomaniac jerks is what they are. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I don't know. Now, we get these things called breadcrumbs, which is what I'll present to you here in a minute. Okay? We do our best to our ability of what we were taught over the years to put 2 and 2 together to get some sort of idea of the direction that we're headed in or a possibility. And this is why people have gone astray and fell off the hope wagon, because they're not seeing nothing. Understandable, but at the same time, this is a very long game of chess. Okay, the Iran situation going on right now, all I keep thinking about in my mind's eye is me as a kid, ever since pretty much 1979, because I was right around there. I started being that weird kid, just being attracted to politics, and at 10 years old and world news, and then paying attention to all that. Okay, and then I'm going back thinking, man, this has been going on my entire life almost. All of this stuff. And that's what makes me settle down. I'm like, okay, this stuff isn't going to happen overnight. Now, if you go back to Donald Trump's first term, on those steps outside in that weather, he told all of us then in the first term, he said, this is simply not another 4-year election. Now, some of us have forgotten that. I have not. Okay? I have not. And I think about that almost every single day when I'm reporting the news, and when I get frustrated thinking, okay, remember what the president said then? This is a long game of chess. This is not checkers. And if it's going to be done, it has to be done right. This is why he posted many, many, many times on his accounts, law in his first term, law and order, over and over again, just the 2 words, law and order. And I believe we're in that stage right now of that. Those tweets are coming to pass. We are in that law and order stage. Look at everything that we're witnessing right now. Okay. The heat has been turned up. We are moving at a rapid pace. Look at all the world events. Do not confide in the United States only. Do not just focus on, oh, it's crazy, and I can call it right now. It's crazy in Minneapolis. What's going on? And the certain people, Insurrection Act now. Let's do this. I get it. But we saw this in 2020. They were burning down Minneapolis. We didn't have an Insurrection Act then. I'm not saying it's not coming, but here's the difference this time. Okay? The difference is, look, not just in Minneapolis, Minnesota, St. Paul, that area. Look at the world stage right now. Look at all of our military. Look at the movement. Think about that right now. Think about the big picture. Our military is on. Think about it. We just literally, you were sleeping. I wasn't, but many were sleeping. You woke up and found out President Trump went into Venezuela, kidnapped the president. Not technically, I just like that word because it was cool. And he was back in the United States in jail by the time you woke up. That is incredible to me. When have we ever seen that? You know, you can talk about, oh, we got Osama bin Laden, or you didn't arrest him. We got Saddam Hussein. All right, that took forever. Trump did this in 3 hours while you slept. That's some badassery right there. We have a badass military. And then we heard about the story of how it went down and weapons they used and everything else. Oh, boy. Hey, that's a great, I'm going to bring it on the screen right now. That is a great comment right there. Not winning 2020 was a gift from God. So I'll transition into that in a second. But, you know, just think about the military movement right now. What military was just announced that if the Insurrection Act is put into place, okay, I'm going to bring this on your screen. Let me see if I can get it. Okay, there it is right there. They just announced that. I'm going to let me grab this. I'm putting it on your screen. Bear with me. Okay, I'll take your comment down. I'm going to come back to it. That's a great transition. Because I believe, I've said it time and time again, that thing is going to get righted, the 2020 election. He posted today about a fourth term. Now, I'm not a big fan of him doing a fourth term. Everybody else wants him to. I think my thing is like, I think at some point we need to pass the torch. But I'm okay with it. I'm going to trust him. But here we go. So if we do this, bring this image on your screen. Okay. So let me do. All right. We just announced that the troops were coming from Alaska. 10th Mountain Division was just announced. Now look at drop 4414. Specifically on the Red 4. Movement of military assets. 10th Mountain. To central locations under the guise of citizen riot control. What are the odds of that? That was posted June 4th, 2020. Again, if you're new to the whole Q thing, you know, this has always been said, future proves past. Pretty amazing to me. Okay. So again, look at all the military movement. He just said tonight, it's on every one of my pages. He just said tonight that Iran military is in full movement. Matter of fact, his exact words, let me go to my page, were, we have a big force going towards, I just said it a little while ago. We have a big force going towards Iran. We have a massive fleet heading in that direction. A couple days ago, 2-3 days, whatever it's been, I don't know, but I know I posted this. Okay. I said something to the effect, I don't know my exact words. I said something, don't worry, Iran has not disappeared. It will be back in the news. For Donald Trump to say, okay, it's so absurd. It's so crazy and absurd. It's like, you know, have you lost your mind, President Trump? When he said, oh, the Iranian regime decided, they said they're not going to kill anybody or execute anybody or hang anybody. And I'm going to take them at the word. Well, that's madness to me. All right, that's madness. And I know that Donald Trump is not a fool. Okay. Same with the art of the deal, just like with Greenland right now. He knows what he's doing. All the talk about he comes right out firing, guns a-blazing. Well, we're going to take Greenland. All right, we'll do this, we'll do that. He didn't necessarily take it by force, but all of a sudden the talks they're coming. They moved military. NATO moved military into Greenland. That's how crazy it got. Now I'm laughing about all that. I'm like, this is absurdity. Okay, and everybody talking about, well, we're gonna take Greenland by force. I just laughing. I said that's never, ever, ever going to happen. I mean, who are these people thinking that? It's madness. It's like everybody has lost their mind, or they forgot to just, do a little bit of research and studying. So again, look at all the military that's moving. We go into Venezuela, boom, big presence. Now Iran, boom. Venezuela, this is all strategic. Okay, I know Trump is talking about we need Greenland because of Russia and China threat. Well, I know it's there. That's not a lie, but it's bigger than that. Now I posted what's her name from the Prometheus Action. She did a great breakdown about Susan. Did a great breakdown about Greenland and being, it's more about NATO and pretty much Britain and Canada. Okay, now if you watch the world stage right now between Canada, Carney, and between Britain, the EU, all that, well, these people are putting themselves in a box. Now, what I saw over at Davos, when I saw Mark Rutte, the head of NATO, I watched that very closely. And when he said that we want to work with President Trump, we want to come to terms on Greenland, they came to terms on Greenland. The terms are not public yet. All right. So I think personally, all right, it's not going to be what we actually talked about with all the memes and everything and the flag on Greenland per se. Something tells me Greenland's going to still be safe with Denmark, but whatever happened at Davos, okay, is going to give us full control. We have full control. I guarantee you, I am saying this with confidence right now. We have full control of what is going on with Venezuela. Now, some people will say that is a dictator. All right. He just did that to the president. Trump is, this is Nazism. He's a dictator, all these things. Well, surprise, surprise. Okay. This is the dismantling of the old guard. This is getting rid of the original New World Order. And in order to do that, we have to take over certain countries in a way that we work with them. We had to go into Venezuela by force and take the president out by force. Many of us have learned the history lesson on Greenland, okay, and how it all came about over the years. And now here we are. Every president's tried to do this with Greenland. Now President Trump's about to do it. Again, I don't know. None of us know what the final conditions are, if you will. Soon we will, I'm sure. But again, I don't think it's going to be the 51st state. That's just my opinion. That's Trump doing the art of the deal. I'm going to say this real big, bad thing, since I'm the president of the United States and I have that power and he does have that power. I'm going to say the most absurd thing first. And what happens when he does that? Everybody goes insane. Okay, I'm not just talking about people online and liberals and Democrats. I'm talking about other country world leaders. I'm talking about the stock market. The man can put out a tweet, a post on Truth Social, and he can move numbers that quick. He knows what he's doing. Yes, when it comes to Greenland, okay, what I can say is Greenland sits between North America, Europe. Okay, it's critical for Arctic security, missile defense, melting ice, as we know, opens up new shipping lanes. And we're talking Russia and China. there as well competing. It expands on U.S. radar, air, naval reach in the North Atlantic, rare earth minerals, energy, critical minerals, um, materials that the United States currently relies on with China. Think about that. Okay. Now, this is the tricky part here. It strengthens our posture with NATO. So let me explain that real quick. I know, and I'm one of those guys about screw NATO. I'm that guy. But with this whole Greenland thing, he's done something. He's exposed NATO. He's taken NATO's arm, put it behind their back, and made him scream uncle. They pretty much don't have a choice. They're full of it if they think they're going to do this on their own. Now, I love everybody over there across the pond. Great people, patriots that follow me too. It's wonderful. It has nothing to do with you guys. I feel bad. All right. But at the same time, I think he did a lot of exposing of NATO. What's going to happen with it? I think NATO's back's against the wall. We just witnessed it yesterday with the Secretary General of NATO, and pretty much just said, we'll do what you want. We'll work with you. And they come out of Davos with a deal, pretty much. Okay. Because they don't have a choice. So they played chicken with Donald Trump and they lost. And it's going to continue to be that way. Now, you're still going to get some crazy kooks, and probably in Germany too, and running their mouth, whatever. But they have no choice but to follow Donald Trump's lead. So if NATO wants to stay NATO with the United States, they're going to have to play ball. And that's just the way it's going to be. So a lot is going on. There's a lot of moving parts. Iran, not going away. Matter of fact, it's going to come back real soon. President Trump cannot say, okay, because it's going to ruin his reputation. It's going to be a blemish on his record as the president. He can't say the words which he said to Iran, help is on the way. Remember that? Not long ago? Okay, well, help didn't show up. Now, let's talk about that. It doesn't mean that we are necessarily going to go in there military like we did with, we can. That is a very strong option. Don't get me wrong. But there are other options too. I'm no expert when it comes to military strategic activity and plans and all that. Okay. You know, I'm just a podcaster here reporting the news. But I got half a brain and, you know, I can logically think. But there are other ways to do things. But it's very tricky because you're talking about helping the people of Iran who've been under a dictatorship, a terrorist regime for over 40 years. How do you help them? You just can't go and bombing the crap out of everything. Okay. So it takes strategic planning. Now, I think this is my opinion right now, because Donald Trump pulled back and he said that ridiculous, and I'll say that right here on the air, ridiculous statement that the Iranian regime said they're not going to kill anybody. Well, that's absurd. All right. These people are not going to change in just overnight. He knows that too. I think you heard him tonight just say about all the military assets that are being moved there right now. Because if they're going to do this and help the Iranian people, which I believe they should, I have said time and time again that the supreme leader, the Iranian regime, the Islamic regime, because I know Iranians get mad about that. Iranians get mad if I say the Iranian regime because Iranians hate that. I'm well aware of that. The Islamic regime in Iran, who runs the show over there, they are the worst terrorist organization on earth. Everything is connected to them. And Venezuela was part of it. We just took out Venezuela. And we're going to be a part of, this is the thing. How do we do it and what we say? But I'm just going to say it right now. We will be a part of overthrowing that government. We have to. It's absurd to let that go. There will not be any chance at a world peace if that regime stays in power. They have funded all these proxies, all these terrorist regimes, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, and the deep state is a part of it. Remember, for example, I mean, go on all night, but I won't. Obama loading up a cargo plane full of cash before he left the White House, before Trump came in, and sending it to Iran. As in a bribe of the, what was it? Something ridiculous. It's a bribe not to attack the United States or something like that. I don't know. But, again, that's just one of many things why Obama should be tried for treason. And again, like I started off the show, people's patience are running out. They want to see those arrests. I have said it time and time again. Those arrests will happen, but they come last. Because the chess game that you are watching right now, or a game of Risk, remember that? But the chess game that you're watching right now, you're seeing it in real time. Venezuela, Maduro, out. Iran, Iranian regime, out. They are creating safety, is what they're doing. Most importantly, they're creating safety. They're making sure you and I are safe. Just like Donald Trump backed NATO into a corner with all the Greenland talk, and then they exposed themselves. They look like fools on the world stage. And then they cried uncle and said, okay, they tapped out. Okay. The same thing is going on right now with all these moves. He is putting the deep state into a corner. Go back and watch little soy boy Alex Soros and some of those interviews at Davos. All right. They all sound kind of scared about things. Things are not going well for everybody. And I get it. Again, I know that's the biggest thing on everybody's wish list, everybody's Christmas list, are those arrests. And I understand that. But if you could take a step back and just realize we're at the end, we're probably pretty much, I think we're pretty much we have them in check at this point. Okay. All that matters now is checkmate. I found it ironic today that let me remove that. I'll put this on the screen. Let me grab this for you. I found it ironic today that this was posted by the White House because of the choice of words. And the reason I say that is because that word is in the Q jobs specifically. So you saw arrest happen today. Don Lemon, I should check. Maybe he's got arrested. I don't know. Okay, so I have a report right now. I'm just checking the wire. I'm seeing a report from Reuters. Now listen to this. Think about what I've been talking about right now. This is perfect. This went well with what I'm discussing this evening. Here's what Reuters reports tonight. The United States military has deployed forces in the Middle East more than it did during the first and second Gulf Wars and the Iraq War. Let that settle in right now. Let that settle in right now. Now, I saw a great video. I wonder if I have that video. Let me take a look. I want you to listen to something. I saw a video. Let me look. I can load this up real quick. Give me a moment. Bear with me. This is worth listening to if I have it. If not, I will paraphrase it. Just give me one more moment. Let me look in my. It just dawned on me. Let me look in my folder. See if I got it. I don't think so. Man, I wish I had that. Yeah, that's what happens when I get real busy sometimes. So I don't have it. Anyways, I'll just explain to what somebody said, that Trump was a genius for what he did, because he said help is on the way to Iran, and also that pretty much we are all on edge. Now I got to take Donald Trump serious, whether it's a bluff or not, because I have to be prepared over here. And then we thought we were going to get this strike on Iran, and then it never happened. But all assets were deployed. Everybody was on high alert. But the thing was, is they got Iran to bring out all of their military missiles, their every site. So radar, satellite, everything can get approximate location of everything. This is why I think there's a small delay right now, because we're not going to go in like we did with the nuclear sites. Okay, that was in, bombers went in, boom, and got out. This is going to be different. I think it's going to be a joint effort. Again, I don't know how it's going to go down. It's going to be quite interesting to witness, but it will go down, because if there is a plan, as we always talk about, trust the plan in place, this is one of those pieces to the puzzle of the plan. And it's getting rid of that Iranian regime, freeing the Iranian people. This changes so much on the world stage economically. Okay. Venezuela has the ability, and they probably will get there, to be richer than Saudi Arabia. And guess who's running the show now over there? You got that right. We are. When Donald Trump said that the golden age of America, we're entering it, it's coming, it's upon us, whatever way he says it, he's not lying. And I realize everybody out there would love, they got their mindsets on, I want my $2,000 check. What's going on there? Real quick, it's coming. I know it hasn't been made public, but Scott Bassett did say they're looking at the first quarter, which would be probably sometime in March, to get those checks to Americans. There is a bigger picture at play. People talk about this thing called Nasara Jasara. I have said over the years, I don't buy into that big internet rumor one, because we all can't be millionaires. I mean, the world needs ditch diggers. It wouldn't be able to work properly. It wouldn't be able to function properly. But I think there's a form of it coming, okay? And it's happening right now as we speak. Believe me, all these nut jobs that are on our streets running around like lunatics and causing crime and violence and what they're doing against ICE and so forth and so on, they're all going to benefit too, financially. People are going to feel it again at the pump, at the grocery store, and people are judging right now by the first year. No arrests. I'm still paying high money at the grocery store and at the pump. Again, just hold on a little bit longer. Why do you think that I put out daily and night devotionals? Please, by the way, somebody remind me at the end of the show, don't forget to put out the evening devotional, because I'm on the air and I might forget. And I already have it done. But why do you think I put those out? I'm trying to help, and I'm dead serious about those. And when I put those together, I love instilling hope. I have been in some of the worst spots in my entire life. Darkness, just darkness, okay? And it was things like those devotionals, not those specific ones, but things that I read to feed my mind, to change my attitude, to hold on to hope, to change the way I think, to trust in God. And if I'm going to trust in God, and if there is a grand plan, if there's this grand plan for my life, I'm not talking about the news right now, but for my life, and I'm comparing it to trust the plan. But if there's this grand plan for my life, well, I have to do something. All right. And the first thing I have to do is not worry and trust. And that is the hardest thing for some people. It was for me. And the reason was because I thought I had all the answers. I thought I knew it all. Do things my way. Well, we voted for Donald Trump. I think the reason we voted for him because we trust him. And the amount of people who have jumped off the Trump train because they're so emotionally charged and they're so impatient tells me one thing, that they have zero spiritual walk. And I don't care what their bio says or what book they sell. They're full of crap. Because if they had any type of discernment, spirituality, spiritual walk, connection to God, faith, they would be holding on. but they can't see it. They took their will back. They took their will back because they said, I have an audience. I need clicks. So I got to rage bait people and just go on here and spew a bunch of crap. This is why I'm the opposite. Because I know perfectly well God has a plan for each and every one of us. And if God's hand is behind this plan that Donald Trump has in place and the other people, call them what you will, the white hats, whatever, we have to trust. And many of you are Bible-believing, God-fearing people. And I see you time and time again lose hope. This is why I post those devotionals. This is why I personally go out and put something inspiring on there. None of it is crap. None of it is BS. It is all real and authentic. I have lived this life. I understand I understand before the term got popular in this movement from dark to light. I lived that prior to that term becoming a catchphrase in this movement. This is why I know personally I have a leg up. I knew this a while ago. I'm like, God, you spared me. Everything that I went through, you gave me discernment. You taught me the ability of how to train my thoughts, how to discern. And I'm like, I'm ready for this. And this is why what I've been doing. And sometimes I tell people, I tell people things and they don't like what they hear. Okay, because there's things that I just don't believe. And the reason I don't believe them, because A, there's no proof, or two, the discernment's telling me this is all crap. Okay, and I know there's a lot of people out here that push certain things. Okay, that so-and-so's dead and all this other crazy stuff, that J.D. Vance is no good, because some Facebook prophet said so. None of that stuff has ever come to pass all these years. Okay. Nobody has popped out from behind the curtain and said, see, I was never dead. Sorry to burst your bubble, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't go down that road. And everything inside of me, all of my faith just tells me to stay out of that stuff. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but if that burst your world, so be it. But don't go unfriending me and stop following me because I'm like, I won't conform to your thinking and some of those real crazy things that are going out there in internet land. I'm just more logical. Correct. All right. So this comment right here, I so love that you keep us grounded in truth. I don't need that fed to me. There's no ego here. But to hear that, what Marty just said tells me one thing. Not to feed my ego, it tells me stay on that path. I call myself kid behind the scenes. Stay on that path, kid, because that's God telling you you're doing the right thing. Keep going forward. And there's a plan in place right now. And I've been explaining it to you. Let me get this idiot's mugshot on my screen. All right. So let me grab this one. All right. So I'll get to this. Let me grab this one. All right. So we're going to grab this one. I'll put this on your screen. All right. So again, a plan in place. Disclaimer before I do this just because many of us followed Q or a lot of people are at the end of their rope right now. I still believe 100% that Donald Trump is talking to us in comms because there are way too many coincidences to be mathematically impossible at this point. All right. I mean, like I said, you go on his True Social, there's a Q on his face. Okay. Yes. The war paint on his face on True Social, zoom into his nose and look at the outer ring and the line. There's a Q painted in there. You don't even have to struggle to look. It's there plain as day. Plain as day. All right, so put this on here right now. And again, these are just crumbs. None of us had the answers. All right, so, let me get rid of Let me get rid of that. All right. Okay, so Congressman Omar is worth over $30 million. There's no way such wealth could have accumulated legally while being paid the salary of a politician. She should be investigated for financial and political crimes, and that investigation should start now. Now, all right, so we go first thing and foremost. So I'll grab this. Let me share a screen with you. Okay, so we'll put that there. That's that one, and that was what time was that? Did I say 5:34? Okay, so the timestamp is 5:34. I think if I remember correctly, it was 17:34, which is 5:34. We bring in the 17:34, and there it is, right there. Okay, now look it says right there, POTUS Ducks reporters because we are in the storm. Perfect match. 17:35, 5:35, 4:34 rather. Okay, perfect match. Again, oh, that's right. I gotta open this up. Hold on. Enlarge it. There we go. POTUS Ducks reporters because we are in the storm. All right. So I know we have a storm going on right now, and it's about to hit a big part of the United States, and I'm in its path. I know a lot of people. I saw people connecting things and saying, is this the storm? A lot of people talking about the chemtrails. There are a lot of coincidences because now we go to now if I go to tomorrow, okay, we go back here. Am I back on there? Okay, so we go to tomorrow. Tomorrow's drops. No, tomorrow, January 23rd, we go to it. One, there's the Great Awakening on drop 3792. But if we go down, where's it at? I know it's tomorrow, right? Right here. This one, drop 3785 says, someone says in the comments, looking forward to the flood, sir. What they're talking about is flood of information, I would assume. But Q responds, what storm, Mr. President? You'll see POTUS. That's tomorrow's. And now that particular post matched to a storm with Omar, okay? Which was this one right there. All right. But look at the bottom there. What's important, take a look. She should be investigated for financial and political crimes. And that investigation should start now. He capitalized now. So we have a connection to a storm starting now. And Dan Scavino has been posting the maps. Now, I know the average person will say, well, there is a snowstorm coming, Bruce. I get it. And in all probability, that's probably the case. But with these breadcrumbs and these coincidences, makes a person take a step back and say, okay, I'll take a step back. I'll reserve myself here. We'll see. We'll see. Now, am I saying that this is that storm everybody's waiting for? Of course, most of me is leaning towards no. But, I'm seeing all this. Or is Donald Trump and team using these on purpose? Okay. And taking advantage of it? I don't know. But these are breadcrumbs. Again, nobody's going to be able to tell you the truth, but all we can do is show you some of the connections. But it is quite interesting of everything that's going on the world stage right now. That is why I tell everybody, don't be just one-dimensional and look at what's going on in the U.S. Look at everything. Look at the big picture. Okay, look what just happened in Venezuela. Look what's happening with Iran. Look, I just reported a few minutes ago. All right, Reuters just reported this is the most military being sent to the Middle East right now. You don't do that because you want to exercise, drill. All right, something is about to go down. It's obvious. And this is all part of that plan. This is chess, not checkers. If you want a new world, not in the way of the original New World Order, all right, it's going to be a little ugly. It's going to get hairy as it is. And you're going to get pushback from the nut jobs. Okay. And sometimes that's not fair for me to use that term, nut jobs, because these are people who have been brainwashed. These are sheep brainwashed. Yeah, I know there is a portion of those people who are out there who you see on your TV screens who are fighting back in Minneapolis who are paid. I get that. I understand that. But there are so many people who come that are in the comments section of the pages you visit or in your own personal comment sections that are just so completely lost. They don't have a clue because they have been just completely brainwashed. This is why years ago I would post that video of former KGB agent Yuri Bezmenov back in 84, 85, that interview, and he talks about how to take over America. And he explains it in a number of steps, and it would take a number of years, okay, to achieve it. But it was about the entire thing was doing it without firing a single shot. It was capturing the minds of a generation to brainwash them and believe certain things, to get them so brainwashed. Okay, tell me if this makes sense now. I'm quoting Yuri Bezmenov from the mid-'80s. To get a generation so brainwashed that he actually said, we will brainwash them so bad. And if I tell them that there are concentration camps, okay, just see, this was an example, and I physically take them and I physically show them a physical concentration camp, they still won't believe it. That's how massive, that's how big of the brainwashing has taken place psychologically over the years here. And that's what you're seeing on a daily basis. These people are so far gone, it's going to take years to re-educate everybody. They think right now that this is World War II and this is Hitler at the helm, and they just can't see it because they've been groomed. And this is why you see the absolute emotional rage in these people, and then they turn to violence. That is what's happening right now on the world stage. So, again, I'll say this clear. This is not a movie, regardless of what you say. This is real as real gets. If you don't think people are getting injured, hurt, and killed, you have another thing coming. Just like I said, just because one side's been brainwashed doesn't mean our side can't be either and manipulated. This is a real deal going on here. And I think one day when this is all said and done, I think we'll probably get some information, perhaps books or whatever, documentaries, and we're going to get a sneak peek of behind the scenes. And I think we're going to pretty much gasp at how close we came to really, truly losing it all. And that's not for me to fearmonger right now at all. Okay. Move that. Okay. All right, so here's what I'd like to do. I want to go right now, because I haven't seen them. I'm going to go to your comments. I have no idea. You guys might be in the comments just making fun of me. Okay. Now I got your comments up. I can see your comments. I'll bring them on screen one at a time. In the comments right now, go ahead and ask a question. I can't answer everything. And I'll be honest with you, if there's something I can't answer. But if there's anything you want to direct your attention to, ask me now in the comments section. Don't make it too complicated. I don't want to turn the show into, well, let's break down Article 11.3. No, let's not do that. But anything in general, because there's been a lot going on. Okay. Yes, I did notice the bruise on Trump's hand. Okay. And you see it there on your screen. Here's the crazy part about that. Speaking of psychological. Yeah, I saw the bruise. They say he bumped it on the table. It could be BS. I don't know. But here's the thing. The other side sees it. And it's immediately, I haven't even looked. I know for a fact I could do it. I can tell you without looking. all of a sudden they're going to say, look at Trump's hand. He's dying. He's not mentally fit to run the country. Also, what I do know is that he does take, according to reports, does take aspirin for blood thinners. I take a blood thinner. I'm on Xarelto because I have a clot problem. All right. And I do know I bruise very easy. Very easy. Could be the situation. All right. Let's see. What about Trump's comments about central casting over the years? Completely blown out of proportion. The internet runs with that. They automatically think, oh, central casting. This is a movie. No, not true. Do some research. Okay. I'm not being critical of you. I'm just saying in general. All right. That is a term that is used in politics, kind of saying like that politician fits the mold, central casting. But this movement ran with it in one direction. Okay. I told you I would be the first guy to come out here and just tell you I was wrong. You were right. This is all central casting. Everybody was an actor. All these people wore masks. Everybody in Trump's administration is deep state and he's exposing them. And I'll come out here and tell you, yes, I was absolutely wrong. Everything inside of me tells me that is not the case whatsoever. Okay. Maduro vote. Yeah, I was well aware of that. I was well aware of that too. There is, I'll tell you what, brother, John, I will try, if I remember, I will try and make a post and put it on my social media about that. I did do some research about that. There is some misinformation about it. Okay. But some of it is true when it comes to that. So again, what I'd have to do right now, I'd have to go and start looking things up again and refresh my memory. But I do remember reading about it and saying, okay, it's not everything it's cut out to be. But I think there is a connection there. Now, the reason I say there's a connection there is because that was pretty much the first place we went of 2026. Also, Trump posts tonight, should I run for a fourth term? Now, he said fourth term. Now, we all know. Okay. Now, I know what people say, 45 to 47, the dash matters. And I understand that point because I believe he was the 46th president, because I believe the 2020 election was indeed stolen. No question about it. I've come on here during the Biden administration all 4 years, and I kept trying to tell everybody, I'm a guy who likes to instill hope, but I told you like it was. That election is not getting overturned under the Biden administration. I don't care about the Brunson case on Supreme Court. I'm like, it's never going to happen. And I know people in the beginning for the first 1 to 2 years, and some big names out there leading you along. And I just sat back and said, oh, you guys do what you got to do. Leading you along, it's going to be overturned. It's going to be overturned. I kept saying it's not going to be overturned. And the only reason I'm saying that right now is because I kind of want to show my credibility. Okay. And I did say when Donald Trump gets back in office for a second term, this will be addressed. They will right the wrong. And not just that, there is the possibility that he will be owed another term once they show the real voter fraud and they right the wrong of the election and people go to jail. That's why probably tonight he said for a fourth term, because we all know that he won the 2020 election. And I love seeing, I just saw, what's his name? I forgot his name on CNN, but they go crazy when somebody on our side says, they stole the 2020 election, and a reporter goes absolutely bonkers saying there's no proof in that. They get so irate. And it's funny because they know deep down inside that that's the case. Okay. You're telling me Biden got more votes than Obama? Come on. Okay. Do I think the storm is natural and man-made? I don't know. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know. I know what you want me to say. What are my thoughts on the hearing today? It was a circus. I'll just leave it at that. Again, about Dan Scavino's post about the winter storm. Again, I just made some connections. Those are some crumbs. I don't know if there's going to be an actual I'm going to keep an eye on things. And when I get off the air with you, I'm going to go right to X. I'm going to pay attention to what Dan posts. Matter of fact, I'll take a peek right now. Let me take a look. Okay, he hasn't posted. Hopefully he'll post tonight. But I promise that I will keep you up to date on my pages. Let's see. I pretty much just gave my thoughts on Iran. And if I have a given overall thought, we're going to go. Something's going to happen. No question. Like I said, a few days ago, I said, Iran's not going away. All right. Just because it's died down a little bit. No. That is a part of the plan. Let's see here. That's a good question. Do I believe that Billy Boy and Hillary will face any consequences? Well, I don't have the answer for you. I certainly hope so. We're going in that direction. And think about it right now. Think about what I was just talking about this entire podcast. I said, look at the big picture. Look at everything that's going on. The military movement, the things that are going on here, the corruption being exposed. I mean, this is a major, again, watch my words, because I just said you're not watching a movie. I'm just saying, what I'm about to say. You're seeing a major motion picture almost, it looks like, what is going on in the world stage right now. And then all of a sudden you're telling me during this timing, now Bill and Hillary are in contempt of court, that a reporter like Don Lemon could get arrested. And I know, let's not just jump to conclusions first. Let's just wait and see how that rides out. They arrested those other people today. Something tells me the whole Don Lemon thing in the church and the people being arrested today kind of threw a monkey wrench in the thing, because I have a feeling they're holding out on arrests on all these big players on purpose. And like I said, it's being saved for the end because of the chess game going on. We have to take care of Venezuela. We have to take care of Iran. We have to get things in order first. Everything that's been going on. And what an amazing first year that's happened. Again, I know, hold the line is all I can say. And I realize that a lot of people are sitting at home. They're wondering how they're going to get the next meal on their table or make ends meet, make the rent, whatever it may be, put gas in the car. I know it's not easy. I get that. Okay. Every time I go to the grocery store, I'm just like, ugh. I feel like I'm getting punched in the gut. You know, it's a rough one because I need certain things. I need my coffee and my certain coffee and my creamer. Because if I don't have it, I'm in a bad mood. But a lot is going on right now. Okay. Just hang on a little tiny bit longer. Again, Moses in the desert 40 years. Just hang on. All right. Just hang on, because I will say this much, and this one's going to, okay, brace yourselves here. We are in big, serious trouble. Think about this. We are in serious trouble if we do not continue to go forward with this and follow all the way through. Because if we don't follow all the way through, these lunatics will get power back. And if you thought it was bad before, you and I have not seen nothing. They will start arresting people like myself. I'm small potatoes right now. Okay. But they're going to go after people like the Bannons and all those people. All right. They're going to arrest a lot of people. All right. They're going to defund the police. They're going to open the border. It will be hell on earth if this ever happens. Donald Trump knows this. They know this. I realize what can happen, and it's not a pretty picture to think about. And I don't like to go into my thoughts, because I'm really big on my thoughts. I don't like to entertain those thoughts, even though I just talked about it right now. But it will be one very ugly situation, and this country will be thrown into the abyss. 1,000 years of darkness. It will be madness. I don't see that happening. I am 100% convinced by what I have seen so far, even though it doesn't align with how fast I want things done, but it's happening. Okay. All right. Let me go back to your comments. Well, it's premature when you're asking about the Board of Peace right now. He did do it in Davos, and they signed an agreement and everything else. So it's very difficult for me to give you my complete opinion when I don't have all the facts. Okay, but I see what he's trying to do. Here's what here's what he's doing. I can tell you this much. Who did he invite to the Board of Peace? You saw the names. I know Netanyahu's on there, but guess who else? Vladimir Putin. Yeah, that's right. Vladimir Putin to the Board of Peace. What Donald Trump is trying to do is what you and I can only dream about, of bringing world peace to the stage. He is bringing in people, even though people say, well, Xi's a bad guy, Putin's a bad guy, and everything else. Well, show me a country that doesn't have some blood on their hands. We all do, all of us. Donald Trump is trying to pull all of us together. He is forcing NATO into the corner. Now, I think when we get to that part, when I'm talking about arrests, that people don't believe is coming, I think that particular weekend, I won't say it on the air, but when you kind of take yourself out, that particular weekend, it will be upon us because they'll be so backed into a corner, these cowards won't want to go to prison when it gets that real. So people will take the easy way out. And so be it. That's the case. I'm not saying do it. I never condone that, but if you want to save the taxpayer money, so be it. All right. But as far as the Board of Peace, I'll put more information out there as it becomes more available to us. But that's what he's trying to do. He's doing the job of the United Nations right now. He seriously is. He's doing what the United Nations was designed to do. And Trump's doing it all by himself. He has basically said, F it. Screw you. I'm going to go out here and do everything myself. It's like me when I do my job. I need help. Okay. I have a lot going on. But half the time it's like, I got to do it. I got to do it myself, because if I don't do this part myself, it's never going to get done right. You're witnessing that right now. Because there's been a lot of talk about NATO and the UN. And we've talked about it. You and I have talked about it for years, about getting rid of NATO, about getting rid of the UN, abolishing the IRS. And we're witnessing all this right now. Give it a chance. The economic thing, it's going to start to prosper later on this year. I'm watching the movement, and it's going to get better and better and better. Okay, back to the comments here. Yeah, but Bill and Hillary, I don't know. We'll see. I really don't know. Maybe not, but maybe down the road. Like I said, I don't think that the church thing and arresting these people were part of the plan. I think it really happened. They're like, well, we really got to arrest these people. And then the public's demanding a perp walk, and they provided that today. All right. Okay, I'll tell you what on this one. I'm not going to touch this one tonight. I promise you. I would love to do another show about this. I've done shows on AI. I will gladly talk about Elon's robots. It's not just Elon, by the way. Don't put Elon in a box. Okay, China is trying to beat Elon to the finish line here. Okay, but here's what I'll say right now. I'm just going to say it, and I've said it before. It's here. The world you and I grew up in no longer exists. Okay, I wish I could go back to the 80s. Simpler times. It's gone. We lived through it. You lived through your time, whatever your period was, 70s, 80s, 90s. You lived through your time, and it's over with. The world has changed. We are now in that age of sci-fi. Whether it's you watched the Jetsons as a kid, or you're a Star Wars fan, or whatever it may be, Terminator, and Terminator's a fear-mongering one. And I know all the things that could go wrong. I'm well aware of that. But this particular guy right here is not fighting it As a matter of fact, I have embraced it. I use AI all the time. Okay. Usually use it for, I'm writing articles on Substack. I write the articles and I give it to AI to kind of correct and tweak a little bit. And I go back and forth. It's kind of just like me doing several rough drafts if I worked on a screenplay or something. It's nice. Um, but I also do it to, I've been using it for research purposes, but I've also been doing it mainly my AI for business purposes. It's designing me business plans and things like that. It's really good. Matter of fact, just with my one partner who's a silent partner, he takes care of everything when it comes to the boring stuff, paperwork, financial. We're using AI for that. It's pretty amazing. It's better than what is it, Quicken Books or whatever and all that. I mean, it's really, really amazing. But technology's here and it's not going away. If you just resist it, what you resist persists. Okay, I'll say that again. What you resist persists. So I'm not saying you have to embrace it, but there's so many things that are very good. And I know you're talking about robots, but in general, with the technology and AI and everything else, there's a lot of good to it. I see it already. Okay. But again, not going down that road. I'll be glad to do a show about that. I'm not Elon. I'm not the expert. I'm just giving my opinion, but I am embracing technology, but I'm using it for good. Okay. I'm not using it for bad. I'm not using it for terrible things. All right. I'm not using it to make the quick buck and do terrible things or whatever, or sinful things. I'm just using it for good. So, all right. Let's see. So, and there's another one too. Bioclandestine says the biggest arrest will be last. See, I didn't know that, but I post clandestine all the time. I love what he has to say because him and I are very much in alignment. Now, he goes off a little more and says a few choice words to some people when it's like they won't, they're not listening. I know he's recently gone off about everybody talking down on Pam Bondi. I haven't said a word, but I said things to some friends behind the scenes. And all I'm saying right now is that I'm not going against Pam Bondi, because if Pam Bondi was deep state and Trump's exposing her, that's a bunch of crap. Because we don't have time. We don't have time for that. And the clock is running out. That's over with. I have a couple thoughts on that right now, because Donald Trump would look like a fool. I think Pam Bondi's got her absolute hands full. The average person is coming out here, what about the Epstein files? Blah, 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 blah. Pretty sick of that. Okay, it's like you got a one-track brain that you don't expand your thinking. And if I offended somebody in here that said it on I don't know if you've ever said it on my page. I'm just saying, I see that stuff on X all the time. I think there's an overwhelming amount of responsibility that's going on right now with Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and those people who have these head jobs, these lead jobs, if you will. I think Dan Bongino hasn't had his podcast yet, but he's come out pretty much, and the things he said been 100% an absolute full support of Bondi and Kash and everybody else, because we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but it's easy for us to just run our mouths. Now, I know we're citizens and we voted for Trump and for these people, for Trump's elections. Again, back to what I was saying, I am not wavering. I don't feel it yet. And if it comes on here to where I got to come out here and say enough's enough and throw Donald Trump under the bus, I will do that. I have no problem doing that whatsoever. I will be honest with you. Just like when I retract the story, I got something wrong. I did that today. I will do that here. I'm not feeling it. Nothing spiritually inside of me is telling me no alarm is going off. And I think we have to write it out. There's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to say this. Shit, I should have just hung in there. I wish I hung in there, because there's going to be an I told you so party. And whether people are saying it or not, it's just going to be there. And people are going to say, damn it. And that's going to be the truth, because there are people who are not used to, couldn't accept the fact, like, man, this is going to take us 10 years to achieve, 10, 12 years to get to. And it's like, I ain't got time for that. But look, most of us have been in this ride. since the moment Donald Trump announced he was running for president. We got in the boat, and here we are. Hopefully, you're still one of those folks that are still holding on for dear life. It's been one hell of a ride, one hell of a storm, one hell of a giant wake, rogue wave ride. But we're still here. You and I are talking right now. You're breathing through your lungs. You're grateful today. I hope you're grateful today. And here we are. We are living in a time. It's the greatest time to be alive. We are witnessing a time in history like never before. There will never, ever be another Donald Trump. There will never be another movement like MAGA. I just don't see it. At least in our lifetimes, we will never see anything like this again. Ever. Okay. Let's go back here. Yep, I can agree. Can be biblical. What's my thought on property taxes? I don't want to bore everybody right now. I appreciate you, Andrew. Yeah, Davos, it was pretty good. I liked it. I love seeing Gavin Newsom squirm and to see little soy boy Soros kind of mumbling his words. Thoughts of Trump taking us out of the who? Wonderful. Did you wake up? You should have woke up to that this morning. I posted it on my page. Today it's official. We are no longer part of the World Health Organization. Wonderful news. Okay, I got it. Man, I'm way behind on the comments here. Let me. I'm not going to be able to get to all of them. I apologize. Let's see. Susan in my comments is saying Trump just rescinded the invitation for Canada to join the Board of Peace. I'd have to look. I'm not saying I don't trust you. I do believe you. Yeah, because right now, if you're paying attention, Carney's just saying the wrong things. And along with what's his face over there in the UK? Let's see here. Yeah, some people talk about like I said again. Look, this is just me. And I believe me, I understand your frustration. Totally understand it. Okay, and I know Pam Bondi's probably the one person out there that takes the most abuse. I'm just not ready to throw in the towel because everything inside of me tells me that we just don't know everything, regardless of the fact. That's all I'm saying. Why is Tim Walz still walking the streets? Hopefully soon we find out. Like I said, again, we are in a critical stage. There's a real clock ticking. A real clock ticking. Arrest will come. But right now, there's a lot to focus on. I mean, just think about what you just witnessed this week. Okay? Just at Davos yesterday, we come to an agreement. We overthrow the president of Venezuela. And then at the same time, we have full control. I also believe that Rodriguez, the woman who is currently the acting president in Venezuela, my opinion only, I believe she's playing ball with the U.S. government. Because from my research, she was just as bad, if not worse, than Maduro. Kind of like, if I had to put it into a visual, Joe Biden being Maduro and Jill Biden running the show and calling the shots. Same thing over there. I think Rodriguez is playing ball. Just my personal opinion. Okay. It's a slow transition. You know, they took out the main player, him and his wife, and now Rodriguez is a puppet on a string doing what the United States is telling her to do. And then we're talking about, think about everything we're talking about. And then we're about to take over Greenland for national security reasons and other reasons. I'm well aware that when we went into Venezuela, look, I am so glad about that. I think fighting the cartels and finally doing something about the war on drugs is monumental, especially coming from a guy who is a recovering addict and knowing all about that underworld and that life. Thank God. I don't want my grandsons to be exposed to that and have easy access on the streets to these things, because it's so easy to get those things on the streets. At least it was. I haven't been out there in years, but I have no idea. But it's not a pretty scene. Okay. But I know it's much bigger than just the drug trade. I know it has a lot to do with oil. But I think people are missing the point, because what are the words? I don't even remember what we were calling them, but the crazies like Tucker Carlson and the others out there, and Marjorie Taylor Greene and all those people who are running their mouth that were no different than we're overthrowing a government, and we're getting involved with the world police. If you are really paying attention, that's not what's going on. But if you're not paying attention, it would look like that is what's going on. We are getting rid of the new world order. This is a new world that is being put in place. And yes, it doesn't look pretty because some of the same tactics are there, but we're fighting back finally. And the deep state is losing full control. So again, just hang on. Pay attention to the pieces, the moving pieces that are happening on the world stage right now. Okay. Probably within about a week, I would say. I would probably anticipate, where were we at? 22nd? Probably by the end of the month, I would start thinking about Iran. And here's another thing to think about too. Q is already is talked about for several years about a certain month. And we are just a little over a month away from that month. And they've talked about March Madness. Is 2026 the March Madness that they spoke about? What will that be? Because I don't even know if we have entered the scare event yet. I don't know. I have no idea. I've done some shows on the scare event over the years, tying it in with Russia and Nessun Dorma and the possibility of nuclear tensions like the Cuban Missile Crisis. I don't see the EBS going off for any other reason than a situation of a missile crisis that close. The last time the EBS went off was 2018 by mistake in Hawaii, because they literally thought a nuclear missile was headed their way. That's the last time when the actual EBS went off in that capacity, of this capacity that you and I think about the EBS going off. And that's why I've always thought that was a signal then. If it comes down to a scare event, it will be something like that again. We'll see. We'll see. Again, these are just educated guesses put together with research, the Q drops, and events that have happened, and trying to put them together and make sense of all this. Okay. Let's see. Go back down here to the comments. And then yes, Cuba, Iran, and Cuba as well. Cuba was directly tied to Venezuela. They relied on Venezuela. So you're probably going to be hearing more about Cuba. Who knows if there'll be an uprising there? We'll see. And it's usually a domino effect when an uprising takes place. I know Iran wants it so bad, and they can't do it without our help. I realize that. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do real quick, it's near the end of the show. Let me check the wire just to make sure before I go off the air here. Let's see what we got. I mean, look at this picture. Here, let me put this on your screen. Just take a look at this picture. put this on your screen. Hold on. Right here. Look at that picture of Trump right there in the center. And look at all those reporters at Davos. Talk about commanding attention. Talk about working the room. Trump knows what he's doing. Knows exactly what he's doing. Just because we don't have the actual physical playbook, we try to have podcasts like this, put posts out. We try to make sense of it. And that's what I try to do. I try to make sense of things. But just look at that. That is amazing. You're never going to see this again. Ever again. Think Biden could have done that? Oh, that's funny. All right, let me finish checking the wire real quick. Okay, so it's true. Yes. I'm going to read it. I guess I was on the air when this happened. Dear Prime Minister Carney, please let this letter serve you to represent that the Board of Peace is withdrawing its invitation to you regarding Canada's joining what will be the most prestigious board of leaders ever assembled at any time. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Dear Canada, I love you guys. I love Canada. I played hockey there many times. I have actually stayed in the homes of many Canadians when I was used to back in the day. Wonderful people. You Canadians are incredible people. Very friendly. But we love you. And Trump's putting you in the corner. Not you, the people. He's putting your government in the corner. Just like he did with Greenland, he put NATO in the corner. They screamed, uncle. All right. As soon as I get off the air, I'm going to post that message to Carney. And the same goes with you. Donald Trump in the United States is not trying to take over. This is madness. This stuff that's going on online, that's going around online. Donald Trump is doing everything he can to achieve world peace, to achieve alliances, to get rid of corruption, deep state, the way the world should be. He inherited an absolute mess. And what he's achieved so far is astounding to me. I wish everybody could see that and what's happening. Because you're missing, I don't mean to use these words, because it's not an actual show, but you're missing one hell of a show on the world stage. What an incredible time to be alive. I'm sure grateful. I'm grateful every single day, regardless. But I'm grateful that I'm alive during this time, that I have the ability to report the news, that I have the ability to have this microphone and talk to you beautiful people, that I have an incredible amount of friends and followers who come to my pages or my podcast. I don't know why, but I love you and I appreciate you immensely. And I'm not just blowing smoke. I really appreciate all of you guys. You give me purpose. I wake up every morning and I'm energized to come on here and report the news, to give you the truth and the facts, and to try to give it to you in a real-time manner, in an efficient manner, to keep you updated. I enjoy it. And I'm grateful for all of you for giving me the opportunity to do that. We've been through a lot together over the years. I really feel like we're entering the end. I think we're coming to that. I think 2026 is it. Now, 2027, 2028, a lot will happen, but we can't afford to lose the midterms. And everything is happening in rapid rocket speed right now. So again, please, like I always say, dig your heels in. Don't give up just yet. Hold the line. Hang on. Because like Donald Trump said to Iran, help is on the way. He's not lying. Even though it looks like some people are disappointed, he's doing it for us. That man wants to go down as the greatest president in history, and knowing that he's the only president that delivered on every promise he ever said. That's the legacy he wants. And he wants to blow the shit out of the deep state. God bless you guys. I appreciate you. And that's it for tonight's show. I will talk to you later. All right, bye-bye.